Folks, I know it's natural to wonder if democracy you hear about, actually works for you. When justice is denied, how can it be working for you? When promises are broken, how can it be working for you? When you have to be 10 times better than everyone else to get the same shot, how can it be working for you? I get it. And I know there's a lot of misinformation out there. So I came today to speak the truth. The truth about promises made and promises kept. Do you remember when the pandemic hit? When 20 million people were out of work? When business and schools shut down? Emergency rooms were overwhelmed. And black folks were hit harder than anyone else. When Trump was president, he said this, he took responsibility for none of it. He said, it's none of my responsibility. When I came to office, I promised we'd do everything we can to get us through that pandemic. And that's what we did. That, folks, was a promise made and a promise kept. I promised to put racial equality as center of everything I do, because I vowed I would have an administration that looked like America. Because you voted, we're invested in more than ever in the black families and communities. A promise made and a promise kept. A promise we'd start to reconnect black and brown and overlooked neighborhoods cut off by highways in the 60s, and decades of disinvestment as a consequence of it, including here in Philly. Well, we're changed that with the Recovery Act. Right now, you see all the construction going on the highways around here. A promise made and a promise kept. Look, I said I'd remove every lead pipe in America so every child can drink clean water without fear of brain damage. We're doing it. A promise made and a promise kept. I promised we'd also take the most significant action on environmental justice ever to remove the legacy of pollution that smothers fence-lined communities. Because every child, every American deserves to breathe clean and fresh air. We're doing it. A promise made and a promise kept. I promised to access affordable, high-speed internet, because now internet is just as important as it was in the days of Franklin Roosevelt. Electricity was generations ago. We're delivering now because no child should have to do their homework at McDonald's when things are shut down. Sit in the parking lot with their parent to get it done. Another promise made and another promise kept. I promised to protect your health care. I protected and expanded the Affordable Health Care Act, but was Obamacare. It is still Obamacare. Saving millions of Americans an additional $800 a year in premiums. And folks, the Affordable Care Act is still a big deal. As Kamala just explained, senators debated this, but we finally got it done. We debated seniors with diabetes are now paying $35 for instance instead of $400. I'm determined to make that apply to every American, not just seniors in the second term. We're capping. The bill we've already passed would cap total out-of-pocket costs for drugs for seniors beginning next year at $2,000 a year total, including cancer drugs that cost $10,000, $12,000, $14,000 a year. You pay no more than $2,000 a year. Promise made and promise kept. And by the way, not only saves people money, it saves the taxpayers, guess what? $160 billion cut in the deficit because Medicare doesn't have to pay those exorbitant prices. Folks, one of the reasons I got started and won the first time and subsequent times in Delaware is because of the best HBCU in America, Delaware State. Kamala says there's some school down in Washington. Anyway, HBCUs are incredible institutions, but they don't have the same endowments as other universities to fund research centers and do so much more. Because you voted, I kept my commitment. We're investing $16 billion, the most ever in the history of America. $16 billion. We'll grow America. We'll save America money. A promise made and a promise kept. I'm keeping my promises that no one should be in jail merely for using and possessing marijuana. I pardoned thousands of people incarcerated for mere possession of marijuana. Thousands. A promise made and a promise kept, and for the record should be expunged as well, I might add. Folks, it wasn't easy to get a lot of this done. In fact, obstacles every step of the way we faced. For example, Senate Republicans blocked the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, but didn't stop me from signing a historic executive order requiring key elements of that bill for federal enforcement. That is, banning chokeholds, greatly restricting no-knock warrants, creating databases for police misconduct, and so much more. But we're still, and we did it with the support of George Floyd's family, and we're going to finally get it all done. A promise made and a promise kept. I promised we'd beat the NRA, and we did. As Kamala mentioned, I signed the most significant gun safety law in nearly 30 years. A promise made and a promise kept. And by the way, I'm going to go back and once again ban assault weapons in America. I did it once. We'll do it again. Supreme Court blocked me from relieving student debt, but they didn't stop me. So far, I've relieved student debt for nearly 5 million Americans. A significant number are black borrowers. So you can chase your dreams, start a family, buy your first home, start a business, and so much more. And guess what? It grows the economy. It strengthens the economy. I'm going to keep it going. A promise made is a promise kept, and we're